Hello everybody, this is HD Shaves. I'm back here with another video. Hope this finds you well and in good spirits. So it's funny, I haven't done this in a month and a half, and I was wondering if I remember my introduction line from memory. I might have to go watch the last video, but turns out when you do this for 3 years every week, basically, your lines stay in your mind. So glad I remembered that. Hey everybody. Thanks to everybody who's reached out, said, hey, what's going on? And everything is really good in my neck of the woods. I would say great, even. And I just wanted to take more time to myself to enjoy those things. However, in the interim, people have still been very generous to reach out and send me things to try shaving-wise. Thank you to those people. I'll mention a few of them specifically now. And sort of the star of today's show will be the newest razor from Wolfman razors. You probably could have guessed that. And this is the WR4 razor head. We had WR1, WR2. Those are both double-edged razors. WR3 gem style razor. And this is Artist Club blade safety razor. So I'm going to try to disassemble this and show you the parts a little bit. As far as I understand, there should be an auction live for the first couple WR4s on the website soon. This is just a aluminum prototype version of the razor, but there's going to be some auctions first, and then soon after they will just list the razor as an option to buy from the site, and I think that's the following week or something. So here's the two parts disassembled. It really snugly fits this kind. Oh, wrong way. Shows you how not often I use these blades. These feather blades fit very, very well. This is the base plate. And this is what the inside of the cap looks like. It's not pristine just because I've been using it. But yeah, I think a lot of people had been asking for this sort of razor. And finally, Wolfman delivered, right? So I'm putting the blade onto the cap, and it really assembles together quite easily. I've had some trouble with these Artist Club safety razors in the past, of where it was a little kind of clumsy to put it together, but this one works very, very well. And we're going to see if we can get the razor handle on. This is a titanium handle from Wolfman, and I was sure to ask if there would be a problem using, mixing the metals, and also I do have a little washer on there to protect the threads, the base plate of the razor, and I was told that it would be fine. And so, I've heard different things over the years about what you should do about mixing metals and using a washer on aluminum specifically. So it's just always good to check with your razor maker if that's really important to you. The kind of scallops on the safety bar here are very reminiscent of the WR2 design, so that's cool to see. I feel like they just give you a sort of a tactile sensation to know if you're really riding the guard too much. So we'll shave with that razor today and talk more about it. The soap today, I just recently finished off a tub of Barrister and Mann Lavanil, and I'm kind of in this middle ground where I'm not sure which soap I'm going to try to finish next. So I'm using this sample of Waves from Barrister and Mann. It used to be in the Reserve soap base. I think this is Omnibus. I've got it into my Captain's Choice bowl here. It's an alright scent. It might be a little too on the medicinal side for me, but we're going to hold judgment until we've actually shaved with it. Thank you to Frank for gifting me that sample. And Frank sent me a bunch of soap samples that I need to get around to eventually. And then finally the WRB2 from Wolfman. I've been using this synthetic most days because I don't shave every day, hardly ever. And so I like that this brush has a little more scrub to it than, say, my beloved rainbow synthetic brush. Okay, I think that's all the table setting, as my boss would say. I like using that phrase, table setting, more than introduction in this context, because table setting gives you a nice, like, visual image of what we're talking about. So I'm wetting the brush through, and let's start loading the soap. Like I was saying, everything's really great in my world. Pretty busy. This is the start to my busy season when it comes to gigs and things like that. Doing some traveling coming up, which I'm very excited about. Of course, not to be forgotten, the Maggard meetup next weekend, first weekend in June in Adrian, Michigan. I'm very much looking forward to being there and doing some special things during the meet, which I don't want to spoil now, because in the event that they don't pan out, I wouldn't want people to be disappointed. But hopefully I'll have some special things to post on this channel from that. So, of course I had to make a video before I go off to the meet, just final hoorah, if you will. It looks like there are about 30 tickets left, which is, I thought they would be sold out by now, but not the case. So if you still want to make plans to come to Adrian, Michigan, you certainly can. Also, I did a podcast recording with the Lather Talk guys, John and Gerard, where we talked about what do you do when you don't have a lot of thrill. Kind of in hobbies in general, but specifically, of course, here in the shaving one. And that was just posted, and it turned out better than I thought. Not because John doesn't know how to edit a video or anything, but I was just worried that I was overly kind of dark in the video. But then when I went and checked it out, it actually turned out pretty nice, and I thought that the conversation was good. And so I'm going to include a link to that in the description of this video, of course, and you can go check that out. It's also a proper podcast, so you can find the Lather Talk podcast on the service of your choice. I'm going to keep lathering this in, and I'll bring you back in. I'm about to start my first pass with the WR4. Lather turned out pretty nice, I would say. I think this is omnibus, based on how that just went, but I could be wrong. Frank, I'm sure, will let me know. And this goes without saying, but don't shave in a collared shirt, people. It just makes even more mess than if you just wear a crew neck shirt. But I don't have a Wolfman t-shirt, I only have a Wolfman polo. So here we are. Okay, razor has been warmed up, and let's go on the first pass with the WR4. I still have to remind myself not to chop my ear off. Oh, and this is a .77 blade gap. I haven't been thinking about that at all. it was sent to me and I wasn't told the blade gap up front. I used it for a few days and then I thought to ask, and that was the number. So some advantages of using a Artist Club safety razor. Of course, these blades are thicker than certainly a double edge. Maybe a Gem 2, I'm not quite sure, but those are both thicker than a double edge anyway. And some people really like using these blades. I will mention that with some razors like the Feather Artist Club razors, you can actually inject the blade straight in. You can't do that with this razor head. You're going to have to manually pop a blade out and then put it in here. And to me, the Artist Club blade has always felt like the newest technology. You know, considering that DE, Gem, and Injector were all found, 60 years ago in vintage razors. So if that new technology thing interests you, then this might be a good razor for you. First pass done. I'm going to rinse and come back for pass number 2 in just a moment. Pass number 2 with waves. Pass number 2 with the WR4. Naturally, some people have asked me about the future of this channel, and honestly, I don't quite know yet. The issue is that what I'm interested in doing off camera in my shaves does not really apply that well, or doesn't suit videos that well. At this point in time, I'm trying to... Oh, I'm going the wrong way. At this point, I'm trying to just pick a soap and aftershave and try to use them as much as I can until they're finished. And that doesn't bode well for videos. I remember learning that when I videoed Austere August. I feel like that was in 2020 or 2021. And I would post one video each week for 4 weeks where I used the same gear. I remember week after week, the interest would just continue to go down, which makes sense. And so something I talked about with the Lather Talk guys was wanting to make more beginner-friendly videos, because ultimately we do need to continue to grow this hobby. But we talked about how maybe more than ever we should try to frame it in the way that it's not a hobby. It's just something that you do and you can do better. Like just buy one soap and really try to stick with it. You don't need 10. You don't need 50. You don't need 600, So, especially while I'm just using the same thing over and over off camera, that would seem to be a good time to dedicate to, making some beginner video about, making a lather or shaving with a razor, things like that. Honestly, this razor shaves very closely, and I could probably stop just then. I forgot to mention that was 3 days growth I was working off of, but I don't do this very much, so I'm going to risk a third pass, but I have a specific technique about, or I have some thoughts about going against the grain with this razor, so be right back. Final third pass with waves. Okay, let's do our final third pass against the grain mostly with the WR4. In terms of the looks, I think I like it. It's growing on me. That's the thing. Because the blade is so much wider, I think these safety razor artist club things are always going to look a little weird at first, but yeah, it's growing on me. So with this razor, I noticed pretty immediately that, yes, of course, it's very efficient, and that's the thing with these blades, is that people really talk about how sharp and close they will cut in other razors, like those Feather Artist Club ones. So you could see it kind of as the best of both worlds if you wanted a very close shave from a safety razor, but you still wanted it to be comfortable. I think using one of these Artist Club safety razors might be the way to go. And yes, these blades are more expensive, of course, but they last for quite a long time. Definitely longer on average than a DE. But yeah, it's been very intuitive to use. Like I said, I have to remember on that first stroke, on the first pass, not to slice my ear off, because I'm holding, the razor like this instead of holding it more in. But other than that, I think it's very easy to use, and I wish nothing but the best for Wolfman and the people who will end up using these, I'm sure, quite a lot. Hopefully you can hear the hairs being cut and also the birds outside. Because there's ivy that goes all the way up my building, I think that attracts little birds and critters more than if if I lived in something that didn't have as much green up the building. So although sometimes the birds can be a little bit of a nuisance if I'm trying to sleep or get some work done, I try to be thankful that they're here, Okay, wow, yeah, this is a really, really close shave, and I just have to think that it's because this is the kind of blade that's in it. So if that's important to you, it's not super important to me, but it is noticeable. So I feel like I should share it with you. Okay, I'm gonna do my final rinse and come back and talk to you over post-shave. Stay tuned. For post-shave today, I'm gonna keep using the Chatillon Unscented toner. You'll have been seeing me use this for years, and we've still got that much left. But we're near the end, and if I, dedicate to using this after each shave, I could see it being through within, I don't know, a month or two. It just really refuses to go away. And that was a beautiful shave. As somebody says on YouTube, I forget who it is, Aftershave, you're certainly not any more handsome than when you started, but you look, or you feel a little better. So yeah, I always think of that now. An interesting thing about this razor I wanted to mention is that if you want to lay it on the counter, this is really the best way to do it, is lay it kind of blade down. You can't really load it or set it on its side like this, nor can you put it on its back. It'll tilt to one side, so that's something to keep in mind. You could always get a razor stand. That's not something you hear talked about on this channel very much. All right, let's do a final recap. Okay, WR4 in the aluminum head. I assume it will be offered in all of the metals: aluminum, bronze, copper, titanium, steel. So take your pick. This is the 0.77 gap, and if you have any questions about this razor, feel free to leave them down below. I don't guarantee I know the answer offhand, but I can probably get the answer for you. We use Barrister and Mann's Reserve Waves. Not really for me. I remember somebody said years ago that it smelled a little bit like laundry detergent, and I kind of got that vibe today. It's not terrible, but it is not that thrilling for me. So I think I'll probably stay away. Finally, the WRB2 from also Wolfman. It's got a 28mm Maggard synthetic, kind of based on the Poisson style, or called Plasoft, meaning it's not the real brand. Okay, thank you all so much. If you made it this far, let me know if you'll be at Maggard. I hope to meet you there. But for now, this has been HG Shaves. Take care. We'll see you again next time. Goodbye.